And good evening to another Good Solid Health podcast. I'm your host, Reynaldo, and I'm with my co-host, as you know, Robert Gauthier. And now I've been counting, wondering how many have we done so far. I lost count, but I think we're up to the 27, 28, something like that episode, maybe like 30. I don't know. But it's nice to see you for another week. We've been consistent at delivering these messages, learning at the same time. If I can just say all the things I've learned so far, hopefully everyone watching this is getting the same feeling. But if not, how you are? How you doing, Robert?
Doing great, doing great. Nice to see you again. Yes, we are consistent. I believe we're at number 29, but who's counting, right? The whole idea is I hope we're helping people out there. I hope that some of our listeners are getting insightful information, and we're trying to get to have our company and products known. So I guess it's a win-win situation.
Definitely, and I've been seeing the numbers slowly rise. The beginning's always hard. When you start something new, you don't know which way you're going, so you just do it. You start to adapt slowly. You adjust yourself around the way, and it's always slow beginnings. But after a while, after you have given your consistent habits to it, it starts picking up. And lately, I've been seeing numbers will start rising a bit more. Even the feedback, it's nice to see that up to a certain point, people do comment your stuff, and we start to get a bit more traction. So I enjoy these evenings talk in which we get to discuss health, which is a hot topic. Because I think it been a hot topic. It's just that
it's a hotter topic.
Yes, it is. Oh yeah, the 20.
And I'll tell you what, sorry if I'm cutting you off, but Thanksgiving in the United States is coming in a week and a half or so. When we air this, we're going to be right into it. It's going to be a real hot topic.
It's going to be a hot topic. Oh,
yeah. I always use the word divisive topic, but the truth is there's so many people who have unbelievable, they're in the ground opinions, and they're right and everybody else is wrong. That doesn't quite work that way. You can be right and I can be right depending on our values and the way we see things. So it's going to be interesting when we hear what's going to happen at Thanksgiving. And we're going to try to help people to navigate through it without too much family disturbance.
It's interesting because talking about Thanksgiving, I feel like there's so many topics that we covered in which we can relate back to Thanksgiving and so many factors, just only because Thanksgiving seems to be, and not only because Thanksgiving was a meal to be thankful for what you have, for where you are, your family, friends, and that you have a roof, that you have clothing, that you have food on the table. And this was started way back when, let's say, America decided, to be thankful with the native. And I find that as we progress into the culture, the American culture and technology, it has become something else. It has become commercial, like everything else. And with that said, it's like there's so many things that just come around the Thanksgiving topic, in which we have discussed before multiple things. As much as it could be diabetes, working out, taking care of yourself, mental, but the stress, and then I don't know, so many things I can just even come on my head.
Yeah. Imagine Christmas. Wait. Imagine Christmas. Christmas is around the world. Around the world, they stop fighting. Whatever their religion, whatever their, there's a truth. You know that at every Christmas, there's a truth. They stop fighting whatever war they're having. And they're going to have war inside houses. Because of you're a vax and I'm an unvax. Can you imagine?
That's true. That's true.
It's unbelievable. So that's my actually 2 cents worth at this Christmas. If somebody starts something, I'm going to say, look, around the world today, or this weekend, or whatever. I think it's on Thursday. They stopped fighting. So let's not fight about who's got a mask, who doesn't have a mask. Are you 6 feet away from me? Are you vax, unvax? oh my God, did you get your shots, not shots? Oh my God, I can't believe that we brought society to this, to their knees. That's what we've done.
Yeah, it's yeah, I look forward to, because I know I have some friends and families that they're in a situation like that where, hey, I didn't get vaccinated, and some family members feel the other way around. I mean, at that point, let's just get along.
Yeah, I'm going to be carrying this. Sorry, I received this from my son today. The Great Barrington Declaration, 870,000 professional signatures, and it's in different languages, and it's basically very renowned doctors around the world. They got all bunch of names, and they're basically saying, stop the nonsense. Start treating the ones that need treatment, leave the other ones alone. Let the kids go back to school. Let the people who want to go back to work and take care of the ones like the elderly, like we've always said, 70 years and over, take care of these, and then we're going to have herd immunity. And once we have herd immunity, then everything is going to start falling back into place. But these are very well-known doctors around the world are saying enough is enough.
Interesting declaration.
Yeah, it's a declaration which I've signed. But the whole idea is I'm bringing this to light right now because it was given to me by my son. I'm going to have this on me at Christmas. Then I'm going to say, don't take my word for it.
Sign here. Yeah. You want your gift? Sign here.
Gift? What gift is here? You want your gift? Here. Take the gift out of my hands. That's about 3 feet. You take it. Imagine this. Okay, this.
Nonetheless,
yeah,
we have an interesting topic, something new that I discovered as I was doing research. So this week's topic, and this is actually an awareness week in November. That's why we chose it. Digital Health Week. What is Digital Health Week? And when I saw that, I was like, all right, I know where it's going. Mental health. Already, I was like, oh well, these digital devices just like invading our life, that we're not communicating anymore. People are getting stressed. People are doing this. People are doing that. Social media pressure, all this. But when I came to read, it's not even about that. I was surprised. I was like, all right, okay, something different to talk about. And what I like about this topic, where when I got, all right, I was pleased with the direction they took, is that it's more positive than trying make awareness of negative stuff. And I bring it on. So the topic, Digital Health Week, basically what it does is an initiative of connecting patients with proper healthcare and professionals. And I find that, all right, that's interesting, a good direction. So basically we're utilizing technology to connect people that are home. I would assume through a Zoom call like that with a doctor, maybe with a nurse, with a pharmacist, and maybe just by simple questioning can be diagnosed. But there are some gray zones so far, because it's like medical tech is a big business.
Yeah.
It's a big business coming up. And Digital Health Week, it's about connecting people together. So the emphasis, like the big line at the end, is so more people have access to healthcare. That's the main goal.
Yeah, it is the main goal. But Digital Health Week is a term. It existed long time ago. You need to understand something. If you lived in Alaska, in the United States, because see, the laws are different, but in Alaska, and you chose to be a loner, and you got sick, you in the United States, you had doctor's care. Our former medical advisor, Dr. Bender, had his own practice, and he had his offices, but in essence, he was allowed to prescribe and to diagnose over the phone or over a Zoom call. So it's not brand new. It's just now it's a term, but existed for communities, indigenous people.
How long ago?
Oh my God.
In Alaska.
Oh God! Look, Dr. Bender was doing it 20 years ago, more than 20 years ago.
Because 20 years ago, we were able to, let's say, webcam. It wasn't as.
It was a phone. It was the phone.
Through phone. Okay.
Yeah. It was the phone. Now we have the webcam, and yes, I believe it has merit. But yet again, this nice technology that was supposed to bring us together is actually pulling us apart. Because there's nothing like touching someone. There's nothing like kissing someone. I'm going back to our podcast we had like 3 weeks ago or something about the teenagers not being able to interact properly. Well, a doctor will have you take your own blood pressure. If the guy, if he has a patient that wants to claim, he's not going to do it properly, or, he can say just about anything. And it's very hard to get a feeling. Even you and I, we look at each other. Yes, I can see your expression, all this, but it's not the same as when we met this summer. You understand?
No, definitely.
My point on this one is, I'm old school. I'm still the type of guy who'd like to, if I'm dating, which I haven't done for 30, 40, I got to be careful, 40 years. I'd like to be able to touch, feel, smell, kiss, you understand? Well, the doctor still has to be able to, take your blood pressure, your temperature and all of this. And, but it has merit with the times that we're living right now.
I support your take, but I'm going to use a different direction. In my case, I've done once I would guess an online diagnosis with a doctor. Really interesting too how I got to that point, only because when my wife works, in her insurance package, there is you can get, let's say, book these these session, I don't know how you call them, with doctors, and right. It's all compensated by insurance. So we got, I forgot for what, I remember. And this is interesting too. All right, I remember why. So I did this this online meeting, I guess, with a doctor to diagnose how I wasn't really sick. However, one of the benefit is that she was going to just question me about a blood test that I had to take care of. And since blood tests here in Quebec, at one point, you needed a prescription by a doctor in order to get administer your blood test. In this scenario, I was able to receive it online through the questioning with the doctor. So I didn't have to go, only as simple as that. Because a blood test, let's be honest with ourselves, you're going to meet a doctor because you don't necessarily know really what's wrong. Maybe at that moment he can diagnose you if you're feeling sick, if you're pale, if you're coughing, if you're hot or anything like that. He'll take care of you. But let's say if it's something that you don't know but you feel and you definitely need a blood test, and just moving. And this is where I find like the technology has taken us. So getting to the place, waiting, and then waiting for like 15 minutes to be like, all right, here's a prescription. Now go see book your session to get your blood test. In my case, I got a blood test done at home, so that's another benefit of doing things at home. Right. And yeah, I got everything was done online. The next day, the nurse came, I got my blood test, and I received my results in 24 hours, 22 days. Look, I didn't get out of the house.
Yeah, that's it. I'll agree with you, Reynaldo. One of the worst places that you should ever go to is a hospital. All right, because where we come from, we're in the country. Our family doctor, the practice is in the hospital. Well, I don't like hospitals. You got proliferations of all sorts of bacteria, viruses, and parasites and stuff that I really don't like. And doing it at home for, let's say, your yearly visit at the doctor, where he asks you a couple questions, he taps you in like this, and it can be done over a Zoom call. I believe that has merit. Okay.
I wouldn't do let's say my yearly diagnostic online.
No,
but no, I wouldn't. No, definitely. I want to go to, I want the person to see me. I want the human interaction in that case.
See, you want the human, but in my case, I say it has merit because most of the time it's just asking questions. And taking your blood, and your blood pressure is not even taken by the doctor. The assistant comes in, puts in the blood pressure. You're okay. Well, I knew that because you can get one of these. You can do it yourself. You see, you can. Sorry.
Well, you see, I don't know if this exists, but I was thinking about something like that. But imagine you're having a conversation with a doctor, and that same device, the modern version, you can plug it through USB on your computer, and the doctors see in real time really the results.
Exactly. Or in my case, you just put it in, then you say, this is what I got. Because, and that's another thing, blood pressure. You can have a very good high blood pressure at home, but, the fact that you're rushing in traffic to get to the doctor, you're waiting in line, you're mad because, this is something I don't understand also. This is going to, doctors will book, I don't know how many, too many patients at once, and we wait in line. This is over with this. You don't have to wait in line because he'll say, I'll be there at 2:00, and at 2:00, the Zoom comes on. So that's interesting because many years ago, I waited close to an hour and a half at the doctor's office, and I walked in, and I was mad. And then I told him, what right do you have to make me wait? Well, I was busy. I say, when you go to the grocery store, what he did not know is I own supermarkets. If you wait in line more than 3 customers, I open another cash to make sure that you are served properly. Yet you make me wait for an hour and a half. Well, that didn't sit very well by him because I'm the doctor, you're the patient. It's not funny. I'm the patient, I'm the customer. You're the doctor, you're supplying a service. But it's been turned around. Just like lawyers, let's say accountants, it's like we work for them. No, you work for us. You understand? Whereas in this scenario, what you're saying is, hey, it's scheduled at 2:00. He's got to show up at 2:00.
It was very punctual. And another benefit that I can say, my wife, when she was pregnant, and this was pandemic, she didn't have to go anywhere there. Now she could get everything done via a Zoom call with a doctor, and we got our prescription. The nurse came. I find that beautiful on where, let's say, the technology and really the behavior of people have gotten us today. More services at home, professional healthcare at home, online, for these online meetings. Like, she don't have to go to the hospital, not during a pandemic, not while being pregnant. And that was beautiful to have all this being done, taken care of via a phone call like this. But if I was to ask you, is digital health the future of healthcare? I mean, it's quite obvious.
I think you're asking me. I don't have a crystal ball. I believe everything is going virtual. Is it the future? I don't think so.
How do you see the future for healthcare?
Interaction. Is there a big part of healthcare? I believe so. But look, what do you call it? Spock there, that show there, Spock and
Star Trek.
Star Trek, that's it. I'm not one of these techies, but he went and with what you just said, most probably they'll be able to do it off of the computer at one point. So is it the future? Depending on how far away you're talking about, I believe there's a possibility. But maybe at that time we'll be able to. Or did they have a transponder back then where we would? It would travel. What was it called? I don't know. Dematerialize and rematerialize.
Yeah, I forgot the term. I know what you mean. It's transport is
transporter. No.
No. I forgot. All right, let's get back to it. But
so point in case, it depends how far you're looking ahead.
No, definitely. All right. There's one thing too about digital, let's say digital health, also that is coming along. And I've seen some development going on here, especially in Canada. One of the biggest company, TELUS is a telecommunication company, one of the big guys here in Canada. Did you know they have a health section of their TELUS Health?
No, I did not know.
They do telecommunication, but it's more in the Western Canada, where they have a health division and they invest massively in digital tech. Well, where this is going is that, and being like you're the telecommunication provider, cell phone, and all this, and you will see all the links happening. Nowadays, we have our phone, which can do many things. All right, all depending on what kind of application you have. Well, your phone, an iPhone, for example, can, let's say, track your sleeping habits.
Yeah.
It can track also your moving habits. Let's say, how many steps have you walked? Have you done today? How far have you walked? If you're disciplined too, you can even track like really what have you eaten today. So all this information get exactly Apple Watch. So it fills your post. So all this information is being compiled somewhere in a database, private database, hopefully. And
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah.
and you have a company, let's say like TELUS Health, the healthcare division, which is able to, let's say, in a way, utilize this information and let's say be able to connect, let's say, a doctor to a patient and do these online, diagnostic in which they have access in a private manner, have access to all this information, and can tell that, you know what, I could see that in the past 6 months, your sleeping pattern hasn't been that high, and this could be the reason why you've been so stressed, and that lack of, let's say, of sleeping that causes you stress is making you, let's say, lose hair. I don't know.
Well, here's what it is. Okay, then if you're bringing this to light, then I'll bring something else to light. Okay,
We'll bring it on.
if we go, first of all, we're not very far from having cars that drive themselves. What's to say that the next doctor might not be a robot? And hear me out. Don't laugh too fast, because I saw a YouTube last week with Tony Robbins in the United States, very well-known personality, and he was talking to a robot, and the robot was a woman, and she would make a joke, she would smile, she would answer all of his questions with wit, and she even frowned when she wasn't happy. So what's to say that all of this digital technology that you're talking about would not be put into a robotic system, and then the doctor would come to your place? We don't know.
I like that. You know what? I like that idea, and it's not that far-fetched as you mentioned it, as it might sound. I think what I've seen in development and medical tech development, and I think I would rather go with a robot, depend up to what extent, but because the thing is, like, let's say during surgery, a robot doesn't get tired like a doctor. I mean, a doctor's on the surgery table for hours. The focus, you're hungry, the tired, the environment, everything. At one point, a human have a limitation, even if you're a doctor, as opposed to a robot that you already have input, you already has a diagnosis. So let's say the tumor is right there in this area, and all you have to do is just like dig, cut, and like just reach there and then there, and bam, boom, boom,
Look,
and then so bam. And there's only going to be, let's say, nurses and maybe like a supervisor, a doctor supervising that everything is fine, going according, and he's able to put, let's say, to push the stop button just in case, but he's not as tired because his focus is not like, I really need this one's a hard one and I need to. I kind of would trust rather the machine in this scenario than having a human that is going to get fatigued after a while.
One of our medical advisor, Dr. Willie Tsaku, he's in South Africa. He's one of the 4 sought after laparoscopy surgeons. You know what a laparoscopy is? No. Very precise. He used to he was teaching in Atlanta, but you have a robot and the patient is in another country, and I've
seen that.
Yeah, okay. I mean, that's a person at the end of, because I guess you need some kind of dexterity and knowledge and all this, but when the robots are programmed like Dr. Willie's brain was programmed, because he was good at what he was doing, at one point the doctors will not be needed. And then you're right, there'll be less mistakes.
I like what you just said about, let's say, because I did see that where like the doctor and the machine was performing surgery, and they were not even in the same place, not even the same building.
14,000 kilometers away. 14,000.
And this, I think, is the purpose of Digital Health Week, is to be able, because imagine in a third world country where, okay, they cannot, let's say, afford, not every hospital can afford the big surgery machine, but let's say if only one machine is there and you have like the doctor, a very specialized doctor in California, and let's say you take my country, Nicaragua. So there's a one facility in the whole country that has a machine to do these online things, but you do not have, let's say, the doctor. So a doctor in California can, let's say, connect online. The patient is there and just perform the surgery, the same surgery that you would do as if the person was right there, but it's done remotely. And then what at that moment, I feel like this is where Digital Health Week is becoming successful, because we're able to connect, let's say, people that didn't have access to this type of doctor, but still get to perform, let's say, the same type of surgery that is required, as opposed to the person having, let's say, well, that doctor's available is only in California, then I have to buy a plane ticket, go over there, now I need to buy hotel, food, I need to schedule this, I need to wait. Then like for someone that doesn't have money, doing all that,
I'll
it's
tell you what,
expensive.
here's what's going to happen. This is my prediction. The army is going to start that first. Imagine you got a war zone. You got a war zone, and you got, you know, casualties coming left and right. You can have the doctors in a place where it's not dangerous, and they can perform the operation. The only thing that worries me is that if there's communication problem. But we have drones. Look at this. They don't go to war anymore. They have drones.
But we're going 5G for soon, so it's not even a problem.
So we're talking about the same thing. There'll be the doctors that comes in. It's going to be a robot coming out of a car. There'll be a long distance operations. And then at one point, the doctors of today are going to retire, but they'll need less of these doctors.
Well, one of the initiatives too from these big corporations, let's say Starlink, the company from Elon Musk, one of his company, basically is to connect the planet with fast speed internet, high speed internet. So at the moment, high speed is everywhere. Let's say 5G, like communication isn't even a problem anymore. I mean, you end up remotely in the middle of the jungle, or even like in the South Pole, there's still connection, and you're still able to perform these things as long as you have the resources, the machine, and everything. But yeah, I find that it's an interesting direction.
Listen, it's in the infancy stage, but you know, they say there's never fire without there's never smoke without fire. I don't know the expression. This is the start, and I believe it will grow. And whether we like it or not, you know, I'll make an analogy. I used to be in the food industry, and I was an advocate of, we started a certain chain of supermarket, and we would show the customer that we would, you know, cut the beef right in front of them, whole beef, whole cow. But then the high administration says, no, we're going to start buying box beef. I was against it because it wasn't up to date.
Yeah.
You go to the grocery store, they don't have butchers anymore, most of them. They order your steak, which is done in a manufacturing somewhere. It's being brought in the morning, and then they put it in the counter, and you think that you've got, you know, all of these butchers in back. It's not. It's not the way it is anymore. So if that's the case, and then we already have Digital Week as a term, trust me, we're going to have robotic doctors pretty soon. And I'm going to scare all the doctors and the patients. Say, well, I want my doctor. Yeah. Well, let's go back in time. You used to have the doctor that knew you when you were a kid, and then when you were a teenager, and then when you were an adult, and all this. And that was like the town doctor was as important as the mayor, and he took care of you. These days,
honestly, I think I wouldn't mind a robot doctor, only because, first of all, there's no emotional attachment to that could be maybe the flaw. And I find that I find that, let's say, a real doctor might have some emotional attachment to maybe a patient, where that emotion clouds, let's say, certain decisions, as opposed to a doctor.
Or since the human body is all connected, he can feel. You need to understand something. When patients come in the doctor's office, they don't tell the truth. Oh, do you drink, Mr. Such and Such? Oh, yes. How many beers a week? Oh, I only take 12. That means 36. You
Your blood
understand?
pressure says otherwise.
And then it goes on. Do you feel? Oh yeah, I'm still sexually very active. No, it's not true. Your wife is not happy. And then he's getting the wrong information. But here's what it is: a doctor today will decipher. Oh, well, I think he's lying to me. But maybe when we get to that stage, when the robots will be able to analyze your facial expression. Nowadays, it started with, I took a course. Your face is cut in half and in four. And if you're right-handed and we ask you a question, you look up on the right side, then that means that you are going to lie. And there's a whole dynamic. That's what the FBI has been taught. But the robots have gone one more step. They can feel your pressure. They can, the heat. I think it's going to be interesting. But you know what? You'd rather be treated by a robot. I'd rather be treated by a live person.
I wouldn't mind either, but I just find that the doctor, let's say the robot, is connected already. He knows, he has a whole database of every possible disease. He can diagnostic you right away.
You're right. There's one thing though, because doctors nowadays, because we don't have the small town doctor anymore, because the small towns have evolved and there's not enough. And the doctor goes with demographics. Okay, it's flu season. If he comes in, he says, that's because he's got the flu, take 2 aspirins, go home. But that's not the case. In his case, there was something else. And then next thing you know, 2 months later, the guy has generalized cancer. So that, I believe that the robot will be able to decipher, whereas the doctor of today, he's got too much information.
Because basically what we're doing here is removing the human error, which
they try to do that. They try to do that in aviation. Planes, they can take off and land on their own.
Yeah.
Till the computer doesn't get the right data. And then you've got major catastrophe like Air France and many around the world where, just one tube was blocked or the computer got a wrong information and, the pilot has to take over.
That's true.
So,
that's true.
I know you got the right and the left side now.
No, it's good. It's good.
I don't see myself walking in and then the robot says, "Hi, Mr. Gucci, how are you?" No. I want someone that has life.
You could put a little soothing voice.
Yeah.
But so finally, what are we doing at SimCorp to contribute to Digital Health Week? And I'm asking this question only because I do feel there's some contribution on our behalf in that same topic.
There's a lot that we do for our customers. First of all, we're a natural health business, so inevitably we're not allowed to diagnose, treat, or cure anybody, but we can give advice. So when our customers call us and they say, I've got this and I've been taking that, and then we can direct them towards an alternative solution. But that's as far as we can go.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Okay, it's not exactly true. When Dr. Bender was live, when Dr. Willie was working, well, we had doctors who were allowed. In our case, being that we don't have that license, we're not allowed to. So our products are sold over the internet. So we are in that category because you're saying they can buy prescriptions nowadays. That scares me. Medication, depending on what you're going to be buying, it might be your teenager using your social insurance number and buying the stuff that on the weekend they're going to get high on. So that's
coming. That's coming. Walmart and Amazon working on that.
Is there already? I mean, you should. Well, there are advertising. Did you not see the advertising from our government saying, be careful of your prescription drugs and then they show that the kids are taking it from the cabinet and then they're going on the weekend and have a good time. In our case, we can't hurt anybody. So there's no problem if somebody orders and our products, there's no danger whatsoever, non-toxic, non-invasive, don't need a prescription over the counter, so there's no problem. But when our customers do call us, most of the time I'll be the ones directing them where we find a solution, because we've had thousands and thousands and thousands of cases, and we can help people. So that's our contribution. The fact that it is also all automated when someone places an order over the internet, it's Amazon, and then goes to warehouse, goes to their place, and all done in a jiffy. So that's the future. That's the future of the alternative healthcare also.
And what I could bring to this question is what we're doing with these conversations. All right, we're not professional. Definitely, is like there's a lot of opinions that we share, and for whoever listening, I do strongly suggest not to even say as far as what we say to be let's say the right information. Not that we trying to falsify, get there as much wrong information, but we're not the professionals here. And so what I find that where the benefit of what we do here on having these conversations, these podcasts, is that we are able to bring a topic to a table where maybe someone will have some kind of curiosity to research more about it on a more professional site, for example. So we bring awareness, let's say, to some topics where I find like this could be even much more information and could be taken out, which is going to be the right one. As far as our opinion, there's a lot of research that is done, but at the same time, like I said, like I'm not the professional who can start diagnosing people with this and that, but I have my personal experience and really what I find based on research that I get.
But here's what it is, Reynaldo. That's not the vocation of this podcast either. The podcast is exactly to give two sides of the medal, which basically you and I do. You bounce on the left, I bounce on the right, and that's quite all right. But if we take the fact that this podcast is sponsored by SimCorp, then inevitably we never treat a patient. We are in the cellular health business. We take care of the cells. The cells take care of the tissue. The tissue takes care of dysfunctionality. In that regard, we don't diagnose, treat, or cure. That's not our game. We are there to rebalance the whole organism. And when somebody understands that message, then they understand the value of what we have to offer. The podcasts are there to, like you said, spark an interest. Say, whoa, exactly. These guys might make sense. Or these guys are full of it, and let
me go see the right information.
Yeah. Or tell us. And then we're going to invite you to give your side of the medal.
Interesting. Well, finally, before we close this conversation, I want to read two testimonials that we have received from some clients prior to, let's say, just came in recently. I find the messages are very interesting, just to show really what other people are saying about this topic. So the first one, I introduced Paul Rosenberg from North Carolina. He wrote, 2 weeks after getting on GSH complex, it was like I was 18 again. And that's great. You feel young. My name is Paul. I had 3 strokes by the age of 47. Then recently, I had a heart attack. The drugs I was on had many contraindications. The worst was a blood pressure medication, which destroyed my ability to perform sexually. 2 weeks after getting on GSH complex, it was like I was 18 again without any contraindication. And he thanks us, SimCorp, for providing, let's say, a natural supplement that gave him life again, making him feel 18.
That's fantastic, though. I think that people should, a lot of people are going to go and obviously they're going to go and I got ED, I should be taking Viagra or Cialis or whatever why do you have ED? Are you stressed? Are you diabetic? We don't have to, we don't have to know these things. We just have to rebalance. In this case, it's at the cellular level, which GSH does, and then you reap the benefit. So we always go at the root cause of any dysfunction, which is the cellular level or intracellular level. Whereas when most guys would go to the doctor and say, I got it, prescription for Cialis, prescription for, whoa, that's not going to do it. Of course, that's a nice benefit, but it's not going to do it.
Yeah. Well, and one more.
Okay.
One more. I have Melinda Thompson from Austin, Texas. She said, I was diagnosed with a possible lymphatic cancer, then mastocytes, an orphan disease with no viable treatment. About 3 years ago, I was diagnosed with a possible lymphatic cancer. It's at that time that I decided to start using VProx to gain some hope. Although it was difficult at times, the product did seem to be helping me out. But afterwards, I was diagnosed mastocytes, an orphan disease with no viable treatment. I spoke to Robert, president and formulator, asked him for it. I followed his advice, but I also listened to my own body and took the combination of GSH and V and tried them at my own rate. Today, I'm only on the maintenance dose of once a day. And just last week, she said, I went for my blood test and was told that everything looked great. And she said, like, she can explain it, but admitted that she felt like it's a miracle. So that's a nice touching testimonial.
Yeah, exactly. I got nothing to add to this other than when you rebalance the whole organism, we were created to be able to fend off any dysfunction. The name is irrelevant. I know a lot of people are afraid of cancer. Oh my God, I got cancer and that's the end of the world. No, it's not. Never was, never will be. Okay. And I'll go further. There are doctors who invented cures. Now, in our case, we don't talk about cure. We talk about healing, but cures for cancer, cures for AIDS, cures. They had to go and hide in Mexico. I have a book from the Senator Leahy, who documented 11 different inventions, or call them products or technologies, that were going to save humanity. And the doctors were prosecuted, the inventors were prosecuted, and at one point they had to go and hide in Mexico. And they have clinics, but they're not affecting people massively because you got to know about them. So we do something that's special. We let your body heal itself. We give it the right substrates, and I will repeat myself, but it's a building block. It's a fuel. If you put the right fuel in your car, you're going to get a long-lasting, happy life with your car, and it won't give you any trouble. Give it the wrong fuel, you're going to have trouble, and it's going to break down. It's that simple.
Said it loud and clear.
And if it does break down, we're going to give you the additive to make your engine go back again.
Dang, that's it. Well said, Robert.
All right.
Well, thank you. That was an interesting talk. I think we got to cover the topic, and we went some nice details. And thanks to our testimonials that we have received, I appreciate getting this type of feedback. It's make us warm, that we're contributing, even making a difference on one person is making a big difference.
I think that you're receiving some of these. We should have every week or every for people to know that there are others that are like, they say, put the cook in the kitchen. If you have a certain condition and we're talking about another condition, you're not interested. But if you hear that somebody like you is getting results, well, that becomes, and these are not artists. That's something, I see on the internet, the CBD oils being sold left, right, dead and center. And they're using like Celine Dion. They're using a whole bunch. Oh, Celine took this and she's got more energy. And I don't remember exactly all the artists. And to me, yes, it's probably, it has value if it's true. Because a lot, just lately, Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood, sued a CBD company who said that he had, taken the product and bagged them 100%. He didn't even know about them. And he basically sued them for $6.2 million. They never showed up in court. He won, and they made, probably hundreds of millions, but it's not the truth. So our testimonials come from every average person, no celebrities, not to say we won't have celebrities at one point in time, but we're not hyping this. This is from the horse's mouth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, perfect. That was great.
All right.
National Disease Health Week.
No, not disease.
No, it's Digital Health Week.
Digital, yes.
Oh my God.
Disease health. We are in a disease environment.
Yes, it is. Well, you're trying to connect that, trying to understand them. Digital Health Week. Thank you, Robert. And I guess I'll see you next week for another Good Solid Health podcast.
This pandemic, we have finally realized how important our body's immunity is. But do you know the cells in your body are constantly exposed to such harmful threats daily? Bacteria, viruses, parasites, EMF radiations all interact with these cells and try to disable their day-to-day functionalities. The GSH compound binds itself to it, prevents its replication, and renders it water-soluble. It neutralizes the effects of EMF radiations by conjugating and changing their structure, which enables detoxification at an intracellular level. Want to know more? Visit us at www.simcorp.ca today.